Today. Feels good in here. Thank you for doing it in here. Golly, it's smoking outside. Yeah, excited to get on this bus. Excited to go to Omaha. Our guys are most excited, so that's what makes me even more excited for them. We prepared well. We've had 3 days to practice and work out and be prepared, and I feel good about that. So we'll get out there tonight, enjoy Omaha, enjoy being there, and then we'll get up tomorrow and practice and do all that stuff, opening ceremonies, and tee it up against a good Ole Miss team at 7 p.m. Friday night.
Coach, you've made it so far, you're making it to Omaha. What are you telling your team to help them celebrate that, but also to show them that the work's not done yet?
Yeah, we've talked about this whole season. We've been really good on the road, and we've talked about how to be good on the road, and we've approached it like it's a business trip. What I explained to the guys, this is a unique business trip because a lot of times on business trips you may not exactly love where you're going to be, but we're going to love where we are in Omaha, Nebraska at the CWS, but we also know what we're going out there for. But I explained to them, the better you play, the more you win, the longer you get to enjoy where you're going to be. So we're going out there to try to win a national championship, and that's first and foremost.
Scott, you guys have been 2 of the last 3 years on the team to do that. With 23 different teams at the CWS over these last 3 years, what do you think contributes to the parity in college baseball compared to the postseason in college football and basketball?
Tell you what, that's what makes baseball such a great game. It's the great equalizer. It's the guy that rolls out there to pitch that day. It doesn't matter, if you've got a solid team, but if that guy is special and he's on, it can neutralize any great team. And that's what you see with upsets. And that's what I love about baseball. I think that's the number one. I think number two, with the transfer portal, you can stay older and you can stay more physical. So just because you're a Power 4 team doesn't mean that you can't lose to a mid-major. They're also active on the transfer portal. They're also active in the high schools, and I think it's going to remain like that. I don't think the gap's going to be gigantic just because of, quote, money. I think a lot of people think that's going to be the case, but we saw that this year. That's not the case. But I think that's what makes baseball so awesome.
How does handling pitchers in this double elimination bracket differ from the regionals because of the day offs?
Yeah, I'm thankful that I've been out there and I've had experience with the format. That day off is huge, especially for your bullpen. So you're not thinking about winning a series going into Friday's game. You're literally just thinking about, hey, we're going to beat Ole Miss, and nothing else, whatever it takes. If that means Jason DeCaro and then Ryan Lynch and start Glauber on Sunday, or Jason DeCaro and Glauber and Rose and start Lynch. We're going to use whoever we need to. We do have a second starter prepared, but if we need to use them out of the bullpen, we're going to use them because we've got depth on the mound, and we have that day as well with more rest. So, for instance, a guy like Glauber can go out there and throw 60 pitches and have a full day and be okay to throw 2 more on Sunday.
How quickly did y'all get back into that process-oriented mindset after Sunday?
I get back in it really quick. I guess it's a blessing and a curse. But our guys, I told them, I said, normally it's shower, move on, period. There's nothing really to celebrate, but there was something to celebrate. We were going to the College World Series. It's really hard to get there. And I said, hey, just enjoy the rest of this day. Enjoy your families who were here for this super regional. Go out to eat with them, but I challenge them. We talk about the importance of sleep and nutrition and hydration. And I told them, I said, you gotta if you want something, you have to give up some things. So that means you got to go to bed a little bit earlier. So we got back in that mindset pretty quick, and I saw it yesterday. You kind of saw it with our guys. I didn't know what they were going to do. I didn't know if they were going to dogpile because of the way it happened, but they just celebrated a little bit, and this team is hungry for more. So hopefully we can make that happen.
Now that you've had time to reflect on that super regional victory, has it kind of sunk in for you that your team did something that no other North Carolina team has done, dropping the first game and then winning the next 2? And what does that say about the fight in this team?
Somebody told me that. I had no idea. Again, like I said, a blessing and a curse. My brain thinks when you said we've been to Omaha the last 2 out of 3 years, we should have went the last 3 out of 3. But anytime, it doesn't surprise me with this team. I kind of figured something hard was going to happen against Southern Cal, whether or not we won the first one, they won the second. I had a gut that it was going to go 3 games, and sure enough, you're in total control. Game 1, and then they hit a grand slam, and then it's like, oh my goodness. They're 1 game from going to Omaha instead of us. But we've been in that position in series this year with other teams, and Ed Clemson showed me a lot with this team. So I really haven't had time. I don't really look back on a season until maybe, I don't know, it might even be whenever we get next year's team put together. I'll look back a little more and maybe sit at Topsail where I like to go a little bit and reflect.
You talk about your team being player-led. How have you seen some of the guys like Jason Acaro, Galin, Gallagher, Maddie, guys that have been to the College World Series before, help lead some of these younger players as you guys are on your way to Omaha?
There was a good piece I saw last night on Caden Glauber, and he credited his teammates. He said I was a little bit immature, and with our leadership, if you're immature in the wrong way, those guys are going to crush you before I crush you, in a good way, and make you understand, hey, it's not all about you, it's about our program. Here's how we do things around here. But those guys, that's the other thing I'm so excited about going to Omaha for is I get to be with them longer, because in all reality, a lot of these guys get drafted high when you have talent. And it's probably Jason Nicaro's last year. It's probably Gavin Gallagher's. I joke with them that obviously I want them back here for their senior year. But in all reality, I also want to chase their dreams of being a big leaguer. So it's been that junior class. I was telling Folger Boaz yesterday, he was the first commitment. I got the head job during COVID. Went over to Coach Gaines' house. We called Folger Boaz. He was like 14 years old, maybe 15, might have been 14. So he was, quote, my first commitment as a head coach. So those bonds, you never forget them.
Just say something about
Last question.
the goals of this team, that they didn't dogpile, that they're kind of saving maybe that for later.
Well, we, as a coach, almost everything you use is from other great coaches. And this year we just started with a Skip Bertman saying, anything you vividly imagine, sincerely believe and enthusiastically act upon must come to pass. And doesn't mean it's always going to, but you have to believe it's going to, number one, and then you got to go to work and try to make it happen. So that's the difference. That's all we've talked about is winning the national championship and nothing else.
You talked a lot about your dad on Sunday. This is going to be his ninth trip to Omaha.
Crazy.
What did you talk about after the win?
Just let's go. He's not going to be on the charter today, but he's flying out Friday. I just talked to him this morning. He feels great. My mom, obviously, it's her 9th trip too. And I don't think this is but their 5th trip flying. So that tells you their dedication. They drove all the way out there with my nephew, Carter, who now is getting them out there. So it comes full circle. Not just my dad, though, but my brother, my sister, everybody's coming. We call ourselves the Griswolds sometime. And so we'll have a good time out there for sure.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank y'all.
Thanks,
Coach.
Scott. Appreciate
All
it.
right, guys.
See you out there.
See ya.
We're showing players. So